All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Sunday morning service here at First United Spiritualist Church. And for any of you guys who are joining us from overseas, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Today we have Alan Holmes as our guest speaker here. I have nothing but good things to say about his readings and his teachings, and I always love it when he comes and joins us at the church to instill us with the wisdom that he has. So I am going to, I'm going to get started by playing our first song for today, and we're going to get started. Now I'm going to hand the floor over to Alan for our opening prayer.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Bianca. Hope everyone's well today. We have lovely wind down here where I am, blowing through the trees quite strongly. It's quite lovely to listen to in the background as it comes through the house. As long as the trees don't come down, we're all good. Anyway, please join me with the opening prayer. Divine loving God, we thank you for this day, for what we have in front of us, for what our duties are, for what our responsibilities are, for they give us meaning and purpose. And let us look for meaning and purpose in our lives, and the purpose to be of service whenever possible in simple and small ways. For real wisdom is simple and truthful and honest and powerful. We ask for healing for all those that we know who need healing, those on the church healing list, those who live in our hearts and minds, those that we may walk past in the street and see a bit of suffering and pain, or what seems to be imbalance. We ask that healing will be given to them, that they will be touched by that light of spirit in some way, that their lives may be uplifted, and ours as well, for we also receive in the giving. And to those many in the world of spirit that walk and work with us, we ask that you draw close to us, that you be part of this service with us, and be part of our fellowship on this day. And to you all, and to that great power that we call God, we give thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Alan. So here at First United Spiritualist Church, we value the 7 principles of spiritualism. I'm just going to read those out for us here. Number 1 is the fatherhood of God. Number 2 is the brotherhood of man. Number 3 is the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. Number 4 is the continuous existence of the human soul. Number 5, my personal favorite, personal responsibility. And number 6, compensation and retribution hereafter for all the good and evil deeds done on earth. And finally, number 7, the eternal progress that is open to every human soul. We've also embraced a quote given to us by a spirit called Silver Birch, who was channeled by a British medium named Maurice Barbanel. And the quote is as follows: "Our allegiance is not to a creed, not to a book, but to the great spirit of life and its eternal natural laws." Now, if everybody could turn your love and light over to Alan for our address for today. Over to you, Alan.
Great, thank you. I'm starting today off with a reading from Life's Greatest Lessons, Hal Urban. 1992, there were like 4 or 5 editions of this book, 92 up to about 2003, I believe was the last published edition. And it's called Being Thankful is a Habit, the Best One You'll Ever Have. And the subtitle is Don't Complain Because You Don't Have, Enjoy What You've Got. And that's from H. Stanley Judd. What gets your attention? How many times a day do you complain? If you're anything like my students were, both in the high school and in the university, the number is pretty high. And this is not a criticism of my students, just a statement of the way things are. I did some experiments with my classes and my speaking audiences for many years, and they proved that there's a lot of truth in philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer's claim that we seldom think of what we have, but always of what we lack. The first one is a simple exercise, simple to explain, but not to do. I asked my students to go for the next 24 hours without complaining. The first response is usually a complaint about the assignment. After getting that out of the way, we discussed some of the particulars. And my first suggestion was that they not stop the experiment if they blew it and complained within the first hour, because most of them did. If they couldn't go 24 hours without complaining, I wanted them at least to see how few complaints they could make in one day. So I suggested that they carry a piece of paper with them while they were trying it and write down each time they complained and each time they caught themselves about to complain. And the following day, we discussed the results of the assignment. I asked the students to guess how many people were able to keep from complaining since the day before. They all wrote a number down, and I did the same. Class of 30, their predictions usually ran between 6 and 12. My own prediction was always a 0, and it was always the correct one because I had the advantage of knowing what happened all the previous times with other classes. It took 23 years before I finally found a student who could do it. By a conservative estimate, I'll now challenge more than I now have challenged more than 70,000 people of all ages to try this. At last count, I'd found 4 who didn't complain. The best part of the experiment, though, was the discussion that followed. I asked 2 simple questions. What was the purpose of the assignment? What did you learn from trying it? There was virtually always agreement on the answers to both. The answer to the first question usually goes like this: you wanted to show us how much we complained. Correct. The second one is usually, I learned that I don't really have much to complain about. What I complain about is stupid. Right again. Whether they actually made the complaint or caught themselves about to complain, they got in touch with both how frequent and how puny their complaints truly were. But that was only part 1 of the assignment, and part 2 began right after the discussion. I gave the students a piece of paper that read, "I'm thankful for," across the top. I had 3 columns below, and the first column was labeled things. Below it, they were asked to list all the material things they were glad they had. The second one said people. They listed all the people they appreciated. And the third one said other. Below it, they listed anything they were thankful for that didn't fit in the first 2 columns. The things and people columns got filled up quickly. The other column took longer. I got questions like, what do you mean? And can you give us some ideas? So I asked for some of their ideas to help us get started. And these were some of the others that emerged: freedom, opportunity, friendship, love, intelligence, abilities, health, talents, peace, faith, God, security, learning, experiences, beauty, kindness, and the list continues. In about 20 minutes, all 3 columns were full. Part 3 of the assignment began immediately. Within the next 24 hours, they were asked to read their list 4 times: after lunch, after dinner, before going to sleep, and the next morning before going to school or work. When they arrived the next day, I asked if they felt any different than they had or did the day before after trying not to complain. Actually, I already knew the answer. Their body language coming into class was significantly different, not only from the day before, but from any previous day. There were more with and had bigger smiles. Eyes were open wider and bodies were more alive, almost like magic, but not that, just appreciation. Thankfulness does wonders for the soul, and all we need to do is ask ourselves what's getting our attention. When we focus on what's right instead of what's wrong, life improves considerably. So this is where I do the talk now, right? Yeah, okay. Sorry. I appreciate your help, Bianca. Thank you.
Anytime, anytime.
No, I know I was reading that this morning, and I thought of, you can put yourself in that experiment and realize very quickly how often you complain. I mean, from lineups at drive-throughs now, if you're going through drive-throughs, yeah, there's like for Starbucks or whatever, or Jugo Juice or whatever else there is out there, and it's very easy to think, oh God, these lineups are long, and people are fussing about, and we have to wear masks, and we have to go hither and yon, or we can't go hither and yon, and people are just really being, quite frankly, unaware and stupid when they're driving right now, probably more than I've ever noticed in any time that I've been driving. There's people don't even make eye contact because I think they're afraid of breathing in other people's direction, and the whole thing is so silly that it's become insane. And yet there's still so much, and again, it goes back to all the little things to be, to have appreciation for. Now, I went for a little walk this morning in my area, and I'm very lucky to live where I live, with the nature that's around us. But of course, I've planted for years now many bulbs and everything else in my yard. Bulbs are coming up like crazy right now, absolutely insane. There's just the birds were all over the feeders this morning. I mean, the sound of the wind, nature, all of it. And I thought, and this is what's really important. This is the stuff that's important, And right now, sometimes for a lot of people, those of us who live alone, we know very well, I think more than ever, what just even an email can do for us, or a phone call, or a Zoom, or a meeting on Zoom, whatever. All these little things that make connection in life meaningful. This, and we know this over and over again, this is what it's about. It's when you are having your death experience and you're going off into the light, it's not going to be about the great things that could have or should have or would have happened, but it's going to be the small powerful moments of love, and in that joy and appreciation, and what you really focused on, that is going to, that you take with you in your soul, right? All the levels of love, all the levels of appreciation, all the levels of thankfulness, all of that is going to emerge from you so powerfully and deeply. And we're able to kind of sheen it over in life because we're in our physical selves, and we have our physical life and the duties of all that to be involved with. And those are very important things to do as well. And they become more important when we actually appreciate them. I don't think we appreciate our responsibilities enough. I think we complain more about our responsibilities. Everyone's complaining right now about we're all locked down, but I keep wondering, what happens when the lockdown is over and life goes back to the hectic pace that it was? We're all going to complain about that as well. We are. That's kind of, sorry guys, you will, and you're going to hear people do it all over the place. It's just going to be hysterical. And if you kind of look at the irony of it all, it's really rather beautiful. It's poetic on so many levels and in so many ways. But that's part of human nature. And I think part of the complaining about what we don't have actually is much more biological than we actually realize. Because if we were in this idea 20,000 years ago, or even 10,000 years ago, and we're really in the hunter-gatherer lifestyle, you'd be worried constantly. Biologically, you would be thinking constantly that you didn't have enough to get through the winter, to get through the day, to get through the whatever. And that's just with food, let alone anything else. These responses are more than just mere fanciful emotional responses to everyday life. The coding, shall we say, let's put this into computer terms, the coding is so hardwired for very good reasons, because for thousands of years that's how our ancestors had to survive and look at life, was that we don't have enough food tomorrow. Who's going out to do who's going out to gather, who's going out to hunt, who's going to bring it, how are they going to get, is there going to be enough in 2 more weeks? We don't have that issue now, for the most part, where we live. We just don't. So it manifests, that response manifests in different ways. So it comes through different parts of our lives. I don't have the best car. My car's breaking down, but you still have a car. Does it run? Yes. Okay. It may be a junker, but it's still working. I mean, think about our youths, those of us who had the junkers and, had to struggle and had no money and all those things. You look back and you think, wow, but, how did I get from there to here if everything was bad? There must have been some good things that happened along the way. And it's, what you focus on is what you're going to understand and appreciate. And the tough times are good. The tough times are good. They give us meaning. They give us understanding for ourselves and other people. There's such a purpose in them. There's such a depth. And we can't run away. You know, 2 years ago, I did my wife's funeral, and there were over 500 people, including one of my choirs, my senior choir of 160. And I had a grade 8 choir, a grade 9 choir, a senior choir, and a chamber choir. The choral program at my school was well over 400 kids in a school of 1,300, and our music program was well over 600. And it was the worst day of my life, without a doubt, in many ways. But it was also the greatest day in some respects. There was such an outpouring of love and truth and honesty and an appreciation for a life well lived. And those that's what you have to begin to remember, and that's what you have to bring into yourself, not just about the loss, but about what was and how that has affected you to go forward in your life. No, there's this discussion my wife and I had once, when we hadn't talked about it, but we knew we were going to lose this battle. And we started to discuss what our lives would have been like had we not met and stuck together and been together. And we both, we just shook our heads. We couldn't imagine. We both said, she said the same thing I said, was that my life would have been crap, absolute crap. And how lucky to share that, and the honesty with that. And then after she died, a friend of mine, I wrote a sad email, and I got a little bit of sympathy back, but she threw this back at me, which basically is what I've already said. She said, "Alan, would you rather have known Jenny or not known her at all?" And so, well, known her, of course. But, in knowing people, and when we get close to them, death is there. And that's just part of the cycle. That's just part of the relationship that you've signed up for, that relationship. The moment you come in contact with someone and a meaningful relationship happens, you've signed up for that. You've signed up for some misery as well as happiness. There's, the people you love the most will make you the most miserable. It sounds, people don't always believe that, but it's very true. They do. Because how else are you going to grow? I said to a friend, when we were going through this, because it happened so quickly, and there's just so much wrong with our medical system. But never mind, I won't get into that, because we should have not been there. We could have not been there had certain things been done much earlier on, and that were choices that doctors and things. But anyway, I said to my friend Scott he was a high school friend, and Scott and I have this weird relationship and we've had it all our lives, and since we met in grade 5. It's just the most bizarre thing. We'll be apart for 4 or 5 years. We'll not even contact each other, and he lives in Vancouver. And all of a sudden, one of us types or writes to the other one, and it's always when there's a crisis in the other person's life. It never misses. We've never missed from grade 5. And he wrote this email and said, "Hey, Alan, I was thinking of you the other day. How are you doing?" And he had no idea what was going on. So when we had this long discussion about the meaning of life and what have you. But I said to Scott, I said, everyone else in my life is dead and has been since I was high school or younger. I said, the only hardcore attachment that I have to this life is through my wife. The only way the universe is going to make me think and think deeper and be more responsive is going to be through pain and suffering through my wife. Now think about that. That's the same for all of us. The people you've cared about the most often are the ones who've hurt you the most. But if you work past it, it can also be the greatest healing too that comes with it. So I know people don't always believe that, but it's very true. There's no there's no out from that. There's absolutely not. If you've had children, you darn well know that children you love and children, God, you just want to string them up some days, and they're the ones that are going to hurt you the most sometimes. And not always on purpose. It's not, the thing is, most of it's not done on purpose. It's just situations and personalities and how we evolve as human beings as we go along in our lives. And that's natural. It's absolutely natural. That doesn't make it easy, and it doesn't make it that you're not going to be upset. It just gives you insight a little bit into, okay, as I work through this and I find my balance again, I can remember these things and bring back that wisdom a bit to establish a balance within myself. And also, so we get to the point where we forgive. Because there are 3 levels of forgiveness. There's the forgiveness that you have to ask of the universe for the things that you've done wrong, that you've hurt people with. You then ask that you be forgiven by those people or other people, whoever you may have slighted or hurt, knowing or unknowingly. And then, of course, it's the forgiveness of self. It's a triangle. Real forgiveness is a triangle. And it has to be. Because it's the same questions, it's the same experience we're going to have when we cross over into the light and when we have our life review. It's the same thing. There's no out on that. And I'm glad there isn't. Because something I've really, I don't want to say learned, because learning sense deepened, that's really, really deepened, is the forgiveness is something we need to be giving to everybody every day of our lives, wherever we are. And I think, and on this level, I have to say, I think the Christian, no, I know the Christians on this level in the writings, when they live it the way they talk about it, but a lot are now, really have it. And it's the idea of walking with grace. Walking with grace is walking with forgiveness. And I don't mean from the biblical point of view of just, oh yes, you believe in Jesus and you're forgiven. It's the understanding that forgiveness needs to flow between peoples at all times. There's got to be grace and space for that, because everyone screws up every day of their lives somewhere. Somewhere we slight someone, we hurt someone, we do something that wasn't our best, whatever it is. And if we're not prepared, and this goes back to personal responsibility, doesn't it? If we're not prepared to grow that way, then we're not growing. You can take all the courses you want. You can tell me you can sit in meditation for 5 hours and your breathing is only one breath per hour. Well, way to go. Way to go. Thumbs up. That's a skill. But the idea of being graceful with yourself and others, that is a many lifetime commitment. And we have glimpses as we go along in lifetimes, but he gets better and broader and deeper. Because that's what all the great masters were able to do. Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, Krishna, all of them. And all the great ones we don't know about because they lived in a village somewhere. There are a lot of great seers, a lot of great spiritual people living in little hovels, raising children, male and female, both. They're not just, on Oprah or, the latest YouTube video of the new, a new medium who gets a couple of names right and they're wonderful. Sorry. Oops. Slip out that one. Oh, gotta forgive for that. Sorry. But it's just because of the, it's a problem with multimedia now, isn't it? Because it's like it just splays out everywhere. And that's okay. There's a purpose for it, of course there is. But you are that spark. So light that spark. Light your spark and live it as much as you can. Give grace to yourself and others and appreciate what's in front of you. What's in front of you that's good? Is there a roof over your head? Are you dry? Do you have some clothes? Are you warm? Can you buy food enough? Great. Can you go to the 4-star hotel at the Hilton in Hawaii right now? Probably not. Well, maybe for one night, but then you're going to have to go to the bed and breakfast down the road the next day, right? Or whatever. But you'd still be in Hawaii. No, and I'm not being flippant. I'm really not. We have these standards. It's like, I don't know about your parents, but my parents used to say, "Oh yeah, everyone's always chasing after the Joneses." Does anyone else besides me remember that phrase? In other words, thank you. Don't try and, don't chase what the neighbors have because you don't have it. Have what you have and build yourself from there. In other words, don't compare to yourself with others because what's the desert or after, there will always be greater and lesser people than yourself. There always will be. There's always going to be somebody who's gotten further on the path than you have. And there's going to be those who have fallen or just haven't gotten on it at all. So, I always like to think, I'm always somewhere in between all of it all. I'm never way at the front, and I look at myself and think, well, I'm not way at the back. I'm somewhere in between. And I think that's where all of us, even the ones who think they're great, need to think where they really are, because I think it keeps perspective and it keeps honesty. It keeps people kind of real. So I'm going to end with a little writing from Chang Tzu, who's one of my favorites of all time. And it relates. It might go off a little bit, but it does relate. It's called Working Everything Out Evenly. I'll try and get it right. What is. What is not. The Tao is made because we walk it. Things become what they are called. Why is this so? Surely because this is so. Why is this not so? Surely because this is not so. Everything has what is innate. Everything has what is necessary. Nothing is not something. Nothing is not so. Therefore, take a stalk of wheat and a pillar, a leper or a beauty, the great and the insecure, the cunning and the odd. All these are alike to the Tao. In their difference is their completeness. In their completeness is their difference. Anyway, so thank you for showing up this wonderful Sunday morning and allowing me to have a chat with you. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Alan. I mean, and I always say this with you, that's exactly what I personally needed to hear this morning. First of all, thank you for sharing your story about your experience with your wife and that life and death aspect, that definitely hit a few triggers for me as well as you were talking about that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, it was awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read our announcements here. So coming up this evening, we have our Sunday evening service at 7:30, and that is with Leslie Prentice. If you want to join in for that, you can access that the same way that you were joining us here this morning. And then on Tuesday evening, we have, starting at 7:30, our healing service with Neville Kim Singh, and then followed that is our development circle with the wonderful Alan Holmes, who will be facilitating that for us as well.
Yeah, I will just say this. I might be 5 minutes late because I start on Tuesday night as well at 7, an online mediumship course that's going on for several weeks. So I've sort of been letting people know in the course. It just because it starts on Tuesday. Don't ask me how this happened. Okay, I have to take responsibility, but it's also somebody else who was involved that sort of kind of pushed it through. So I might be 8:35 or 8:33 getting here. So don't panic. I'll be there. Yeah. Sorry.
It's all good. Life happens. It's about rolling with the punches, right? And then coming up on Thursday evening, we have our Divine Love Prayer Circle with Rafael Legros and Maureen Cardoso. And then something special coming up this Friday is our Greetings from Spirit, which is Ricky Avitan. She is an incredible trans medium. I just had a reading with her a couple of weekends ago, and she was able to bring through my father, and that was just such an awesome experience for me with her. So she's doing the Greetings from Spirit this coming Friday. And then we have our once a month psychic and wellness fair online, and that takes place this coming Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you guys are interested in that, email fusc@shaw.ca, and we can get you matched with a reader and signed up for that as well. And now what we're going to be doing is I'm going to have our second song, and then we're going to be going into guided meditation. And then after that, we're going to be doing demonstration and mediumship. So I will get our second song going, and then we'll get into a nice short meditation. An amazing group.
Standard sound, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So now we're going to get into a quick guided meditation and then our demonstration of mediumship. So if everybody wants to get comfortable, laying down, sitting, as long as you're firmly planted with your feet on the ground, or laying down, whatever's more comfortable for you guys. So I want you to start by taking 3 deep breaths, breathing in to the count of 4, and exhaling to the count of 6. And now I want you to feel a wonderful ball of red floating around your feet, moving up through your feet into your calves, all the way up to your knees, around your thighs, and into your sit bone. Just feeling that wonderful ball of red energy giving you support and security and safety. Just feel that red ball floating around, giving you any healing that is needed in your root chakra. Now I want you to see that wonderful ball of red energy floating into your sacral chakra, turning into a beautiful orange. Just feel the power that the orange has to offer, wrapping around your sacral chakra, right below your navel, filling you up with unconditional love and support for yourself. Feeling that wonderful orange ball floating into your navel area, turning into a beautiful sunny yellow, filling you with your own true personal power and truth. Feeling that wonderful ball of yellow just floating around your solar plexus chakra, giving you any healing that is needed in that chakra. Now I want you to see that beautiful ball of yellow light floating up into the heart chakra. Emerging from that yellow ball, you'll see this blue, vibrant light. Seeing the green light shooting into the heart chakra, giving you any healing that's needed for you in the heart chakra. Feeling that wonderful ball of green energy just wrapping your heart in unconditional love, giving you the strength and the power to know no matter what the circumstance that you are always loved, and giving you the power to love yourself unconditionally. Seeing that green ball moving into a beautiful, vibrant ocean blue, moving up to your throat chakra, giving you the courage to speak your own personal truth when it is needed. Feel that beautiful ball of blue floating around your throat chakra. Now I want you to see that beautiful ball of blue light floating up into your third eye chakra, turning into a wonderful violet color. Feeling that violet fill your third eye chakra, giving you any healing of the mind that is needed. Having any of the negative self-beliefs and limiting self-thoughts that you carry with you, just floating away as this beautiful violet light penetrates your third eye. And now I want you to see that wonderful violet ball floating above into your crown chakra, slightly above your head, feeling that wonderful light, white light from Source shining down on you and wrapping you with its unconditional love and acceptance. For you are perfect in the eyes of the Creator, giving you that wonderful love, peace, and security that the spirit world has to offer us. Sitting for a moment, just feeling the healing take place in whatever chakra is needed for today. Sitting with that beautiful healing energy, knowing that it's available to you whenever you call on it. Feeling any sensations, and just allowing those sensations to easily move through. And when you're ready, rub your palms together, wiggle your toes, taking another 3 deep inhales and exhales, and coming back to this time and space. And Alan, whenever you're ready, we'll hand it over to you
Yeah,
for
it's
meditation.
it's kind of quiet over here today, and I'm wondering because I've got 7 days in a row here suddenly that I'm working, and between Dems readings, classes, the thing on Tuesday night, my class tomorrow night, It's insane. And right now it's incredibly quiet. But the thoughts that keep going through my mind, and that the energy that's around me, more or less from the spirit world, has been very much about healing. And I feel like there's this healing like that keeps building, and that I feel like there's a real need within families and people. And I wish I could see everyone's face, because I can't, because I've got some people that have turned off their thing. It would be great to see you. It helps a bit, particularly with the mediumship, I think, sometimes. But can I come? Who is it? Sorry, I got to just check that. Can I come to Linda for a second? Linda, love, can I just come to you for a minute? Hi. Oh,
Hi.
wait a minute. I just saw something. I saw one person in two places at once. That was freaky. Sorry, that was very hard. I didn't realize you were together in the same room. Um, I I had this whole thinking around me about healing and health, and I just wanted to talk about healing for a moment. Does that make any sense to you right now? Was that heard?
Pardon me?
Is that Linda?
Yes.
Hi, Linda. So I had all of these thoughts about healing and healing, just healing to start with, and that's the only thing I can say to you. And I just feel like I want to give healing, or I just feel like healing is needed, or I want to bring healing around to the family, or to you, or in that group.
Thank you. Sure is right now.
Right. And it's not just physical, it's also emotional and spiritual, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I know the physical there, but to me, it was more about the emotional and spiritual healing that I just felt coming from the spirit world. And I just, because I really feel like over a period of time, like my heart's really been broken over a few things. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And as the sense of also of people either being brought in or out of my life, and things just not being um, it's almost like the resolutions haven't really happened yet, if you know, if that makes sense. Like it's, we're still not done yet with dealing with certain people and situations and conversations that seem to be happening with people.
Yes.
That makes sense. Okay, because right now it just makes absolutely no sense to me. But right, and I, you know, as I'm sitting here too, I do know that I get the sense from the spirit world. I really got to get to a parent with you, or a grandparent with you, and I want to go to the mom side of the family. Would that make sense?
Yep.
Right? Is this your mother I've got, I believe?
No.
No, then it's grandmother.
Yep.
Yeah. And did you know her well? Before I go on, did you know her fairly well?
Oh, I sure did.
Okay. Did she have problems with her feet or with walking, or did she have diabetic issues?
No.
Okay, then I'm just going to keep talking, because it may not be her that I'm talking about. Then, is there someone who had or has or had an issue with their toe or their feet?
Not that I know of.
And sorry, and is someone had an issue with a toaster as well?
A toaster?
Yes. I know this is going to sound really strange, because I'm just going to keep talking, because to me it's like the toaster fell on the toe.
No, that's making sense to me.
You're going to say no to me. That's insane.
I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking that this is insane, and I, because I really feel like there's either something to do with the toe or the feet and being diabetic. But I also feel like there's something to do with a toaster with this, and I know that sounds absolutely bizarre. Um, okay, all right. So Linda, can I leave you just for a second? Is there anyone else who understands that a little bit, particularly with the lady with a diabetic condition? That's the first thing I want to get to, and more to do with the feet. And that's you, Bianca. I'm sorry, Linda. And that makes sense to you?
Well, somebody in my family, yeah, my mom.
Your mom. Okay. And in the past, was there not an incident with something to do with a toaster where either the toaster fell or caused pain or it did like came off, it hit them or something? Because that's how I
Vaguely familiar. I remember a while ago, actually, my mom dropped something on her foot and she was like, it was causing her a little bit of pain to do with it. Yeah.
okay. All right. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay. But there's something about a toaster in here to sorry, just so I'm not misinterpreting, are we talking about someone that really liked toast?
My
Just
mom eats toast regularly. Yeah.
okay, she's a real toaster. Okay, all right. So I might have been Linda. I might still come back to you. Just give me a second here. But I know there's issues with mom, and I know mom needs healing as well, right? There's healing issues with mom. Yes,
Yep.
right. And she's also been stubborn, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't like change at all, and she really doesn't like to be told what to do.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And oh, she needs to. She needs to be told sometimes. I just get the feeling that there's this energy or presence with me that wants to say she needs to be told sometimes, and she actually needs to listen. And is there a name like Carmen somewhere connected?
My dad's name was Cameron.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Close. Okay. Cameron, Carmen. No, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You say tomato and I say tomato.
Toronto.
I got to go with that. Okay. So lovely. And I'm sorry. You just said you had a message from your dad. So I'm not trying to butt in. But I think he's still, the connection is still strong yet with him from the spirit world and in some way for some reason. But he's very much around your mom. There's a lot of concern. He has a lot of concern for her right now at this point in her life. Yes.
Yeah, I fair to say because I'm struggling with her big time right
Yes.
now. Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, and yeah, it's so there's that. And I also get the sense that there's just more, she's I hate to say she has to break down a bit, but she's going to have to break down a bit more before she listens. I'm sorry to say that, but I just get the sense from him about her with that.
Like further health issues.
Just I think it's a bit emotional, breaking down a bit, sort of saying I should really do something. I need help. I need, like, sort of extend it. You know what I mean? And asking for it as opposed to pushing it away somehow or keeping it
Yep.
at bay.
Yep.
And that makes
So
sense to you?
yeah, I just started school to get my diploma in professional counseling, and that's really shaped things for me. And I've been in school for a week now, and I go and I talk to my mom about things, and it's just like this complete blank wall where I'm like, there's so much healing that
Yeah.
you need to do. And she's like, I've already done it. I'm fine. And I'm like, you're so not.
Okay.
But
So
okay.
Bianca,
Yep.
from someone who was married for a very long time, don't try and be the family counselor.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can backfire very badly.
Yep.
Extend and then back away and then let it ruminate. Don't. Uh, like, because it'll just go. The chances are it'll go the opposite direction to how you're hoping it will go.
Yeah.
But
It
and it was
does.
there's also a thought about a stroke.
Oh, really?
Who had the stroke?
Nobody. Actually, no. My grandfather, my dad's stepdad,
Had a stroke.
years ago. Yep.
Yeah. He's in spirit.
No, he's still here.
Still there. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense then, because suddenly I needed to go to somebody with a stroke or a stroke condition or had something like that. So
Okay.
I'm just being, and then also as I'm talking about that too, there's this a whole sense about there's a memory date with that side of the family, whether it's a birthday or anniversary, I'm not sure, but I know there's a memory date that comes around me. Yes.
Yeah, I would say my dad's death anniversary. Yep.
Right. And I also know that your dad knows of this man from the spirit world. I know your dad is aware of this. I know he knows certain things have happened or certain things have
Mhm.
gone on.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and And it's interesting because someone's been thinking to themselves about, boy, aren't we lucky to be where we are, or it's been by luck somehow that things have worked out in certain ways. And is this you that you've been thinking this way a bit lately? Say
Uh,
no to me, or is there someone else closer to you that has been thinking about, aren't I lucky to be where I
Oh,
am?
I would say that with the whole COVID situation in the world, I'd say I feel like I found a lot of peace in my own self through the whole COVID thing. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah, that
Right?
makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, but this is the word luck. It's very much feeling like I'm lucky that I've
Um,
gotten to where I am in my life from where I've been.
yes, yeah, that's yep,
That
that's
makes
me.
sense.
Yep,
That makes sense. And
yep,
that's you. And that's
yep,
exactly how he's talking to me about you.
yep,
You've been
yep.
thinking this way. Um, and it has been a bit by luck, but it's also a bit by effort too, right? Luck and effort kind of go together. People say, aren't they lucky? But actually, if you look at somebody, usually they put in a lot of effort before the luck happens.
Yeah, damn
Very,
straight.
no,
Yep,
it's very true. It's very, very true.
yep.
Jose Carreras had no opera career until certain things happened to him, and then the reverse happened, where he actually got sick, and somebody that I know or know of, who was a tenor and his understudy, stepped in that night, and that person's career took off. So you've got to be in the right place. So you have to create luck by effort too. It's not just
Yep,
it comes to you. There's
yep.
effort you can get through, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's in front of you, and it works. Right. Loving it. And have you been around children lately, or have you got kids? If someone's got a kid, and someone's talking about tying shoes or skills or helping them to develop. Do you understand this?
Yeah, my niece is 2.5, and she's just like the family is infatuated with her when it
Right.
comes
Okay.
to yeah,
Yeah. And I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if somebody's already talking about like trying to help her get skills with certain things doing, and like tying shoes is
totally,
coming up,
totally, yep,
all
yeah.
that type of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And I really love her, by the way. And I really feel your father have a lot of love for her. And I want to be around here. And there's something about it. Does the name Frank have a connection with your family?
That's my niece's other grandfather.
Great, thank you.
Opa
And and
Frank.
and and that comes through. And yes. Oh, and by the way, there's someone talking about to me about Polaroid camera pictures from the past. Polaroid. Are people still using Polaroids? Do they? I don't know. But there's something about Polaroid pictures.
Yep.
And this,
Yep, that makes sense. We have
that
a
makes
ton of
sense.
them.
Oh, okay, right. And there's also okay, sorry. There's also something to do with Disneyland. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I didn't even see that. I, di- I didn't even look. But
My oldest brother lives in Orlando.
thank you.
Yep.
Has there been pictures of people at Disneyland?
Yep.
Right. And I have to tell you, I don't know. Do they? I don't know if they have this one in a part in Orlando, but I'm sure they do, because Disneyland's a company, so they usually want certain things the same way. Do they
Yep.
have this? Do they have the castle in Orlando?
Yeah, the Disney castle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because to me, the picture was taken in front of the castle. Like, so the castle's in the background and there's some people standing in the front.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
That was the last vacation I went with my dad,
There
was
you
to
go.
Orlando. And
There
yeah.
you go. Terrific. Terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. And Betty, or I need to say, what's weird? I want to say Betty Boob.
Betty Boop?
Boob. Do you remember Betty Boob?
No, but
There's something I'm sure this is more related to your dad then, or somebody. Yeah, thank you. Who did that? Who was that? That was
Shalora.
yeah, yeah. Remember who she was, don't you? Right. And yeah, and she had the yes, yes. It was from a Disney. I think was she a Disney one as well, or it's from that cartoon era. And I wouldn't be surprised if your dad or someone had a memory about that, or there's something that. Yeah, can I throw this at you, Bianca? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
somebody or something will come up that will relate to Betty Boob in a way, and you'll go, "Oh, that's who he was talking about." And
So that's the spelling on the last name, not B-O-O-P, but B-O-O-B?
is it Boob or Boop?
I thought it was B-O-O-P.
It might be poop, boop,
Yeah.
boop. Betty Boop. Sorry, did I say Bibbidi Boo?
Yeah.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Yeah.
So, Kalamazoo, Michigan. So if just see what happens with that. If that sort of connects. Sorry, go ahead.
It
I'm
does.
just, she looked like her when she was a little girl.
Who did? Bianca? Really? Do you know Sheila?
Yeah, we met, but
We
I
met,
just can see, look at her face if she's got short hair.
Yeah, you know what? You probably have a point there. Yeah,
and I
didn't-
had the bob cut growing up.
Did you?
Yep.
Did
Yep.
anyone ever say that to you, that you looked like her?
No, but it's funny because Betty Boop has been like, she's, for some reason, I've been thinking about her more lately. And I know that that's how my dad communicates with me, is through my,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So let's,
Huh.
okay. I have a feeling there's a mystery that will unfold here, and
Yep.
it will all be interesting when it comes together.
Okay.
So I don't want to play around with that. I want to leave it, if you know what I mean. And just let it sit.
Yep.
You know, I had a reading that lately was Tony Stockwell, right? So I paid the extra money and I had a reading, and it was good. But I didn't, he said, well, is there anything in particular? I said, no, that I'm the type that goes, and I just, whatever spirit's going to bring is going to bring, and I'm just going to take it that day and whatever. But there were some of these metaphorical things that happened like this, that I thought, yeah, I can see in a year or two where something's going to come together and there's going to be a deeper meaning about it for me. And it will make sense in this reading. And, you know, and I sort of think this is kind of where I'm at with you on that one. Although it seems pretty frivolous, I think there's something else emotionally in the connection that you're starting to talk about that makes sense.
It makes
Because
sense.
I have never had Betty Boop before, ever.
Her personality was quite kind of feisty too, hey?
It
Like
was, and you
kind of
kinda have that,
sultry and feisty. Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense for you. How nice.
Yep.
How nice.
Yep.
And I just want to go back here for a second too, if she's still there. I thought Linda, but I've got this sense around me of somebody who crossed, I think, or somebody in the family who likes to live a little bit edgy, kind of maybe dangerously, or a little bit more, on the edge. Almost like, you know, I'm going to go ride the motorcycle. I'm going to go do certain things that aren't going to make people feel comfortable while I go do them. And not specifically with that in mind, but, you know, that's the result. And I feel, I feel, I feel like somebody might have even crossed in some type of accident to do with one of these situations. And I don't know if I'm really with Linda still. Inside her life at all, if there's anyone that can answer for her, because she's not there. Okay.
She'll be right back.
Yeah. Does that make any sense, Jay?
I'm not 100% sure. She'll be right back though.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to continue then, and I'll see where this goes. Does anyone else understand that a bit with inside the family? The sort of idea that I've crossed, but I you know, I was a little bit on the edge person, like a little bit more risk takey, whether it was to do with motorcycle or cars or something. But
I've crossed in a car accident.
you had someone who crossed in a car accident,
I did. I had a near-death accident.
and you were actually in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Sorry, who is this? Colinda? Colinda. Colinda, just a quick question. Was it because somebody else was a bit more riskier, or were you a bit more of that personality type?
I was that personality type for a
Oh
long
my
time.
God. Okay. Wow. I've never.
And now I'm becoming a medium, and I'm a tarot reader, and I'm a channeler, and I'm getting all of these things happening to me now.
Okay. And I just need to back up so I get the evidence right before I go forward. Okay.
Okay.
Because I had the sense, and did you meet some people from the spirit world then?
No, but I did cross, but I came back and I left the spirit door open, and now I didn't. I left my body, but I came back in.
Right.
So I don't remember who I met, but I know I crossed and came back, and I was told that by many people. But I was a risk taker, yes.
Right. So you were you actually saw yourself out of the body?
I felt I felt like I was hovering above my body.
Right. Okay, Colinda, I don't want you to go anywhere. I just want to make sure I've got this right. And Colinda and Linda, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Linda, did you?
Yes.
Was there a younger person or younger man that crossed inside your family?
Yes.
Yes. Was he a bit of like? Was he a car driver, motorcycle type, or took a little bit of risks with things?
Motorcycle.
There it is. Sorry, Colinda. I may come back to you because it does relate, but I think Linda, I'm with you because that's kind of what I was talking about for a moment, and that felt more correct. I just got the sense of this person around me, and I just felt like I really wanted to reach out to you, and I wanted to let you know that I was well, but I also wanted you to know that I know you care a lot about people, yes, and you worry about people. Is
Yes.
that correct? Right. And I
Yes.
get the sense from this young man, and I don't have his name right now. I had names before, but I don't right now. That I want you I want you to take better care of yourself. You know, I want you to be well with yourself, and it almost feels like he's. Were you an aunt of his?
No.
Were you then? Were you a close friend then?
Wife.
This is your husband. Interesting.
Yes.
And he was younger.
Yes. Well, youngish.
Younger because he, you know, the way he comes across to me here with you in terms of relationship, it's, and I'm sorry I got that wrong, but it felt like, I'm not going to say it's at a distance, but it must have been a while back then.
9 years.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'll just have to then fine. I'm just going to talk about the way I've got it then, because I'll just have to work with it that way. But I do know that there's a lot of care about your health right now, and he keeps talking to me about that. That was the thing that really cemented strongly was your health,
Yeah.
and yes, and stop worrying about everybody else, and stop trying to. I don't know if you're trying to fix other people, but or take care of them all the time, right? They got to take care of themselves
You
because
got it.
you're wearing out, he says. You're wearing out.
I sure am. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it's a bit of tough love, but sometimes we just have to close the door on a few people.
Yes.
Right. And in the month of January, were there memory dates of family dates in January?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's been pulling me to January for some sort of memory dates, whether it's his or other people's. I know that there's memory dates in there. And also, are we? Don't give me the date, but are we talking around closer to the end of the month
Yes.
with some of these days? Somewhere around the 25th or 26th. Is that kind of getting in there?
Close. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm in that end of the month. I knew I wasn't in the beginning, but I really do want you to you know take better care of you. And
I'm
right,
trying.
yeah, and he's also he's also talking about getting your eyes checked or something, glasses.
Yes.
Yes, and getting them done because he says you need to get this, or maybe you haven't had them done for a while. You need to get them done. But I was very aware that my eyes,
Yep.
I need new glasses or something. Thank you. And he would care that way about
Yes.
you, and he would want you. Yes. And why the month of May? Is May an important month for you or him?
Yes. Yes.
What date was that? Why?
18th.
Okay, but
That's the day he passed.
that was the day he passed. Okay, because he kept talking about May. Right.
Yes.
And right. And I also, for some reason, I know this may be completely wrong, but I need to say happy birthday to you. You know, he just, for some weird reason, I need to, and I think it's because maybe he didn't remember so well, but he doesn't forget from the spirit world. It's interesting because you know
Okay.
there's a relaxed, intent personality here. Like
Mhm.
there's an intense personality, but there's a relaxation with me as well right now, which I find very odd. And that makes sense to you?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Right. And is there a name like Jim or Jimmy with somebody?
No.
Okay. I'm going to leave that because I think that has something to do with him or somebody he knew.
Okay, I can't think of anybody.
And this is what I mean. I could be totally wrong, but if in fact, I might leave you now, Linda, because of that, and take the name with
Okay.
me, if I may. Right. Does someone else understand the name
Okay.
Jim or Jimmy? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Susan, and also Kay. So I need you to turn your mic on if you can, Susan, if possible. So I have, and Kay too. So I have we can have a that here. Yeah. And emotionally, would you understand Jim or Jimmy to be fairly close?
It is a friend of mine.
Right. Was he a fairly close friend?
Yes.
Thank you, because I feel close. I didn't feel husband and I didn't feel son or anything like that. I just felt a closeness and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't feel like a cousin or anything, but I knew I was fairly close. Sorry, Kay. And I know that this is around me at the moment. And I keep feeling like I want to, do you have a son?
No, I don't have myself. I don't have children.
Hold on.
She
Kay,
has children.
Kay, do you have kids?
Yes, I have an adult son.
Right. And did Jim or Jimmy know him?
Yes.
Hold on, Susan, I have to leave you. I'm so sorry, love.
No, that's okay.
It's interesting today. It's not moving. It's not bad. It's just not moving super fast. Kind of coming in a wave like this. I mean, I'm like, okay, I'll have to just keep talking until I get this right. So he must. So if he knows your son, then I just feel like I need to be around your son right now, or for some reason
Okay.
I'm around. If that makes sense to you. And I feel like I'm around your son, or I'm involved with him somehow from the spirit world. I feel like I'm looking at him or checking in on him in some way, if that makes sense.
I can understand that.
You can understand that. Okay, right. And it's just, okay, sorry. Are you a card person? Are you the one that sends cards or keeps in touch with people through cards in some way?
I don't send that many. I make them now more to go online. But
Thank you. Stop there. So did you make something for Valentine's Day?
it wasn't a card, but it was a text.
Thank you. Because he talks about Valentine's Day and something about, like, I guess, to me, I guess he's talking about two things and I didn't quite get it right. Cards are there, but also something about Valentine's Day and something you did or sent out on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
You understand that? Okay,
Yes.
terrific. Thank you. And he's also the type from the spirit world to me to be grateful. Like I feel like he's grateful in ways, and grateful to you, or grateful to people around right now who were involved with him in some way. And I feel like this is either because of people have sent prayers or thoughts, or they were kind of there for him in a way, if that makes sense.
I can understand that.
And you can understand that. I don't have a whole lot of detail with it. It's kind of frustrating. So I'm waiting for a couple of big things to happen. Right. And I got to go back to your son for a second. I feel like he's talking about your son as if your son is working towards something or working on something. He says he needs to stay focused and he
Yes.
just needs to get through and,
Yes.
and not lose his drive or his belief or his, he just needs to keep going with this. Yes?
I understand he made a very important application on the 14th of February.
Ah, there we go. Valentine's Day. Got it. And I want him to keep pushing forward and not give up. Right.
I understand.
But he's got to keep doing it. No one else can do it. He's got to be the one to keep trying. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
he's going to
And
try more than one
and
place.
and sorry,
Yeah.
how old is your son before I say my next thing?
He's 37.
Yeah, is he married?
No.
No. Okay. So has somebody talked about having children then?
A friend of his that possibly, but I'm not sure. But I can see the situation. It's
You
possible.
understand this because I keep hearing about children or a child coming, and I do feel like somehow it's not like it's known to your son in some way. Because I was afraid he was talking about your son for a second, and that's why I hesitated because I thought I'm not sure on that, but I know there's something about a younger person, a child coming at some point here, and if it's with someone who knows your son.
Yeah, it could well be one of his friends because I know that there's, one
There's
or two that are trying.
Yeah, there's been talk, and I'm
Yeah.
going to say he's, and somehow I'm going to tell you, somehow your son is going to be affected by this very much, whether it's just emotionally or it's going to do something in here with him. So
Okay, I can understand that.
let's see where that goes, because I get the sense internally that your son, with this Jim guy that's talking to me, is I think he actually likes kids in a way. I think there's something there's something
That's, yeah, it gets
paternal
on
with
well
your
with him.
son. Sorry?
He gets on very well with friends' children. Yeah.
I figured he did. And I just get the sense that this may very well come out for him still yet. It might actually kindle some more fire or do something, but I just get the sense he'll be involved somehow in this and he's going to be attached.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
And yes, and there's also talk to me now from the spirit world about you with you, you've been kind of I don't want to say you're on the fence, but you're still thinking about some changes or changing, or
Yes.
you understand this, and I
Yes.
still feel like I'm doing this. You see my hands? I'm a bit,
I'm
but
still doing that a little bit. Yeah.
yes, but I kind of want to do this to you. And I just feel from the spirit world that you should now start to move past being come see come saw, to move forward with some things. And it's interesting because now I've got the sense around me that I've got someone who had issues with their heart.
There's more than one.
Yes, and I really do feel like I want to go to a man, and I do feel like I want to go into either a father or on the father side of the family.
Someone who was a lot like a father. I had a father, but this man
Was
because
more
of
like
how
your dad. He was really the role of father.
not really, because I only knew him when I was growing up, but because of the 20-year age gap with his friend, it was very much that way.
Okay, all right. If I've got it a little off, I'm sorry, but I do know that there's this. I felt like this push was coming from this gentleman. And is there a Charles or Charlie or something like that?
Yes,
Do you understand that?
that's not him, but that
No.
would be a grandfather.
That's a grandfather. Yeah. Okay. See, can I get to the granddad here? Because I think that's really
Yeah.
who's trying to
He's
work
often
with
there.
me. And I want to go. I'm not saying the other guy wasn't there, but the granddad just suddenly sort of like came on. I really feel this is coming more from granddad too. You know,
Okay, I understand.
take your strength, take your bravery, take all of this and go forward with it, right? Or just take the next step.
Yeah.
Be smart, but you're a smart person, and you're not. It's not all going to go badly. Somehow. I just want to say that to you. I don't know what I'm saying to you, but I just don't think it's going to go all badly. I think it could work out well, as you go forward. And there's been. He's talking about don't look back too often at mistakes or covering. To think too much about old ground. Don't go
I
back and think about
understand.
old ground too much. Think a little bit, but then move forward. Yes?
Okay, I understand that. Yeah.
Right. And Claire, is there a Claire?
I have a friend, Claire.
Right. And I know there must be he must understand that there's a connection there, or you guys talk, or have you talked with her about these sorts of things?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. And he's talking about the conversations, right? And it's been good for you. But sometimes we can also over talk.
Yeah.
Right? And just like what I'm doing now today. And right, and it's just, yeah, and he's also, there's also there's in the background with the family, there must be idea of peacekeepers or people that believed in peace, or a pacifist type of thinking, or and I'm not saying they weren't involved in things to do with.
There is a pacifist, very much so.
Thank you. And he keeps talking about this pacifist philosophy, or person with a pacifist background in some way.
Yes.
Right, you understand it, right? And I would say, I think he's telling me that you lean more that way.
I lean in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Why solve everything with a gun, right? If we can do it better than that, right? What is the pen is mightier than the sword, right? Words are important. All of that. And was your grandfather a fairly smart man? And I'm not going to say super educated, but I mean,
I'm making comparisons here with my father, who was extremely smart, but I
Right.
suppose his father was above average.
Okay. And I'm not saying that he had a university degree or something, but I just get the sense of common sense smarts. That's really what I was
Oh,
saying.
he had common sense, my
Yeah,
father.
that's exactly it. Yeah, it wasn't, and that's what I think I said before you said smart, before you said the other thing. I said common sense, because that's how I feel. I feel like I've got good common sense, good grounding, and right, and I just feel like you've been a good daughter. Yes.
When I was growing up, but then there were tremendous problems.
Right. Hold on. Have you dealt with? Is your mother still here?
No, she died in 1993, and that's when the problem started.
Okay. So up to that point, it was fine.
As far as I knew, yes. I know that there are things I've discovered since, but as far as I knew, it was fine.
Because I felt up to that point, or up to there was a point where everything was fine.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And anyway, so I don't know if I really got mom here with me. I know she may very well be in the group, but I can't really say I've got her sitting on me, if you know what I mean. It just feels more of a male influence around you today for some reason. And this father grandfather feel is the strongest, certainly with the name, the way it came. And right. And I just look at the time here, right? Okay. What else is there? I just want to encourage you to just go forward with this. That's
okay. I understand. I would have done it if it wasn't for COVID. It would have happened.
Yes. Well, it's still going to happen, but it's just going to be a little later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And right. And is there Bill or Billy?
There is a William that I think might have been called Bill, but it's remote.
It's remote. Okay, let's leave that there then for a minute. I'm going to take that name with me, and this will be my last one. Does someone else understand the name Bill or Billy? And I'm pretty sure this is spirit world. I
do.
Who's that? Sorry. I can't see that. Put up a hand and hold it so I can see you. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, there's a few of you. Okay, so let's see, Linda, if this still flows back to you. But let's see. Dan, because as I'm sitting here, I just gotta feel this link out a bit. Billy. Sorry, in your family, Diane, were there people with sense of humor?
Yes.
Yeah. Did this Bill or Billy have a sense of humor?
Yes.
I've got a bit of a joker here with me. And I felt laughter inside myself right away. And I would like to, I kind of tease you, or I'd make jokes, or I'd be in the family, and maybe it'd be New Year's Eve or Christmas or something, but it's that type of feel around me, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And is there a Josh or Joshua somewhere else connected with you?
No.
Okay, just say no to me. Hold on. And
no.
I would like, and if anyone heard that name and it relates to you, just hang on to it. It is you. I thought so, Linda. I thought right away when I said it. I'm back to you. Okay, so Diane, and there's also there's been talk about, or in yourself, there's been discussion about preconceived ideas, or people with preconceived ideas. There seems to be people that have been kind of working in ways that seem to come at things with an already idea about how everything should be or should be working. And I just get the sense from this Bill or Billy that he didn't really do that. I don't think. I think he sort of kind of went through everything with a little bit of a, well, let's see what happens. And I sort of I just want to bring that around you. And I want to sort of encourage that with you, and to trust that, well, let's plan, but let's also see. And let's not be locked into one idea or how we think it should or should not be, because it could close off certain opportunities or an idea to be creative with it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Do you understand that now? I know that was
Thank you.
long-winded, but I just had to sort of work through that. Right. And there just seems to be a lot about, have you been dealing with money issues, or business, or somebody doing with business thing? Sorry, did you have family that was in business or did business dealing?
Yes.
Had their own business?
Me or Linda?
I'm not sure. I want to talk to you first.
Okay. Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Bill was in business.
Yes. And I feel like I've got books and ledgers, and like there's something about money management or having to be careful with money or understanding how it works, if that makes sense. Right. And that's part of the business. That's the way it was being presented to me, and that's the way I have to say it. But I really do feel that you've been where are you? Birth anniversary. Okay, so can I just go here to birthday and anniversaries?
Okay.
There must be something in this time frame here. January, February, maybe getting into March, but I'd say these 3 months, there must be memories of birth dates and people and anniversaries. Yes.
Yes.
Right. And he's also talking about seeing people or seeing family members. Have you been talking to people about seeing them or trying to get together in some way?
Yes.
Yes, and I feel perfectly fine with it, by the way. You guys will be smart. You'll be fine. Look at my face. You'll be fine. And that's really from spirit. I feel that very strongly. Right. And so don't hold back too much, because you need it. You also need the connection. There's something for you here with this that's important. And right. And it's okay. Sorry. This is very plain. And have you been there's stuff about my house and clothing and ironing and just a whole bunch of house stuff, or doing stuff in the house, and ironing. There's no one in your family who had or had something to do with dry cleaning, did they?
No, but my mom loved to iron.
Okay, we're with mom. Mom's in spirit?
No.
Okay, and Bill would have known your mom.
Yes.
There we go. There's the connection. And I feel like whoever this is, they're busy doing ironing and cleaning the house, and they like things just to be so, and right. And she's very careful with that. And right. And there's okay. Sorry, maybe it's with Linda here too. I'm not sure. But there's also this sense of airplanes or Air Force.
No.
Thank you, Linda. And not
No.
with. And
No.
sorry, I'm going to keep pushing her a little bit, because I think this is right in the background somewhere. So maybe with somebody else, because we're getting near the end. But I do have the sense of the Royal Air Force, like somebody had a connection to England and was involved in that, or had connections with that.
With England, but not I don't think the Air Force.
Oh.
Yeah, mine was an Air Force.
Jeez. No, okay. All right. I'll have to let that go.
Nothing.
And there's nothing like a name like Buddy, is there?
No.
Or Bobby? Just say no.
No.
No,
No.
just keep saying no to me. That's perfectly fine. Well, let's get this done. Yeah. Okay, just a sec. All right. Okay, Diane, I might have to leave here in a second, but I do know you need this connection with the family. And I know this is part of the reason why this Bill, is it Bill or Billy, showed up, just to really push on that, because you need to have that I'm sorry, I cannot leave this. So someone else please sit here who's got connections with family members or a deeper connection with either do with an Air Force or England, Second World War, all of that sort of kind of idea.
My grandfather was in the Second War.
Who was that? Put up your hand.
Linda.
I'm back to you. This is your granddad.
Yes.
And was it to do with Air Force?
No, he was in the army.
Was he in England at all?
Yes.
Okay, so let's separate out the Air Force for a second here, because I can't help but see planes around. Did he ever talk about being in areas where they were bombed?
I don't know. He passed when I was 5.
Okay, fine. I'll have to leave that then. But I know I've got England. I know I've got military. I know it's Second World War for sure. And I see another hand go up. Hold on, Amanda. You got, because we're running out of time here, because I know I've got to shut down here in a minute.
Yeah, my family's from England, and my grandmother used to have to inspect the planes to make sure they would function properly.
Sorry, Linda, I love you. I'm not with you. Okay, thank you for putting up your hand, Amanda, because I know this is about planes, yes?
Yes.
And this is the Air Force. This is England.
Yeah.
There we go. And was there music in your family?
A love of music, not
Yes.
musicians.
That's okay. And I also got the sense, I got the whole sense that somebody was also talking to me about an era of where they were in the pub.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's music in the pub, and like the old pianos in the corner, like there's all that type of memory stuff that just seems to flood me about this situation. And right, and you must have been. So your grandmother, I think she would have been fairly straightforward. Is that correct?
Oh, very much, yeah.
Yes. And in comparison, and don't take this the wrong way, would you be a bit more delicate than her?
Yes.
Yes, because she says that. She said she's a bit more delicate than me. You're not quite as like in the face and pushing forward, and it's not that you don't work after things or work. It's just that the way you come across is differently. But you know what? When you smile like that, when you sit there like that, there's something about your face that reminds me of her. There's something in the look that makes me think I'm looking at her a bit, and particularly sort of up in here. Right. Okay. All right. And but you're a softer brand than her. That's a better way to say it. You're a softer brand.
Yeah, she was a hard woman.
Yes. Yeah. But I like her though. I like this straightforwardness and this kind of, okay, you've got to, and let's move, and let's not muck about. Let's have some common sense and let's be smart. Right. Let's it's not waste our time. Okay. And love, I got to end here with you. So we got to make this as quick as we can. Right. And there's like names like Joe or Joey.
That's not ringing a bell. Oh, for a person?
I'm not sure. I just heard the name.
Okay. She had a budgie named Joey.
Thank you. I didn't get a bird today. I've had that happen, but I didn't get one in animals with names. But all I heard was the name, and I knew she was talking about something that was known. Right. And right. You're and she's it's interesting because what you do and the way you look at the world is interesting to her.
Yeah.
It's different, and it's a different way of looking at things, but she's also very interested in, and she likes it. And she says, what you're doing is worthwhile. And I need to give you confidence in that, and that she supports it. I need to let you know that. And she would tell you if she didn't. She's also talking about shoes.
Okay.
And when she talks about shoes, it makes me think about very practical shoes. It makes me feel very solid shoes with a buckle and a heel, and no sloppy slippers in a way, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I'm not saying she didn't, but do you understand that? But you see, when I look at you, I keep thinking of a softer soled shoe. It's not as solid on the bottom in the way. It doesn't have the same sort of foundation. I mean, she was and I don't have a very tall woman with me. Does that make sense to you?
Well, she was probably about 5'7", 5'8".
Okay, average. All right. Are you shorter than that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Then we're talking about, yeah, because she's talking about shorter. I kept thinking, they got a shorter person she's talking about. And she's also talking about you and your have you had issues with your back?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because she talked to me about your back and getting it straightened somehow, getting it to be, I don't want to say, please don't take this the wrong way, pulled apart, but if you know what I mean, stretched out.
Yeah,
And
I do that every month.
do you? Okay, great. And she says it's important for you. It helps. And you've been concerned about the long-term effect of your back on you.
Mhm.
She said just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I also get the sense that if you can get some, I don't know if shock therapy, if you've looked at that at all, but I just get the sense around high waves of sound somehow to be put into certain parts of the back and on certain parts of muscles, because she's telling me that certain muscles have been tight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's a medical whiz, but she knows that you've been dealing with a lot of this, right? And she's also says you've also been very concerned for other people with their illnesses, right? And has this actually specifically to do with cancer?
Yes.
Yes, and I just make sure whoever this is on a healing list for cancer. Like you've got healers working, people sending their thoughts to the spirit world for the healers in the spirit world to help this person out, because it can help. But she also knows that you've been concerned about it, and you also know the effect of treatments and various things, and it's been rough. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all I can tell you is that this lady is very much around you and with you, and is trying to help you in some way, emotionally as well too, and give you strength and courage. A lot about courage. But yes, and there must be memories of watches or jewelry or something that's been passed down to people. You understand this? But I want to say watch. Does that make sense?
Watch isn't ringing a bell.
And when I say watch, I don't mean a female. Somehow I suddenly felt like somebody had a man's watch.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Yes. And I know she would have known that from the spirit world, and she would have known who that would have gone to. And I wish you would tell me if I could get it today. But I just want to give that to you. And at the very least, I want to give you the sense that you're not alone, that your things are happening around you. Okay. Right. And sometimes it is guesswork, love. You know this, right? And I need to say that sometimes it is in the guesswork.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if I said Charlie to somebody earlier.
That's actually my granddad's name.
Thank you, because I heard Charlie very loudly here as I'm trying to pull away. I'm sorry, it's a bit slow today. I felt it was a bit cumbersome, not bad, but just a little bit. And I had to kind of sort of sift through a bit today. So thank you all for being so patient. I thank you so much. I hope that was helpful in some way. We do our best. So God bless. And if you don't get a message, you darn well know spirits around you. Never ever, like I said, I had a lovely reading with Tony Stockwell. I'm going to be very blunt. He didn't bring anybody from the spirit world that I knew, but other stuff came that was fantastic. So, you never know. You got to leave it with spirit. You got to leave it with spirit, because they know better than us. They're intelligent, and they will decide often when the right time is to step through as much as they can. And I've always trusted that. It's always a fantastic journey. So thank you all very, very much. God bless, and have a great week. And Bianca, back to you.
Thank you so much for your time and energy there, Alan. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
So that I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us this morning and into the afternoon. And if you want more of this, like I said, feel free to tune in again this evening at 7:30. So usually we would conclude our services by singing "Let There Be Peace on Earth," but I don't feel like singing today, so I'm just going to say, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with you. And thank you, everybody, for coming. And Alan, I'll pass it back to you for our closing prayer.
A quick prayer. Great. Thank you for today. Thank you for the experience of being here today with these people, with these souls. Help us to continue our striving forward, to work on our inner being so we can relate to the world with our true self as much as possible, but to remember that we walk in this physical realm, and the behaviors, the precepts of others, we are also governed by at times. And let us be sensitive to that. Let us be sensitive to ourselves and others, and let us be sensible to ourselves and others. And we give thanks for this day. We ask for healing to continue with anyone who is in need of it, who's asked for it, for anyone on this planet. If there's any way the spirit world can step in and to bring upliftment, a bit of hope, a bit of ray of light to touch their souls, then we ask that that be done. And to you all, we give thanks. Amen.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, you guys. Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. See you Tuesday.